Good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Jane Daly, and I'm co-director of Irish Theatre Institute. And here on my left or right is
Siobhán Bourke, and I'm co-director of Irish Theatre Institute.
Thank you for joining us this morning for the first session of Irish Theatre Institute's Symposium, What is a Play?, which marks the 20th anniversary of Playography Ireland, something that Siobhán and I find hard to believe. This is a project and a resource which is very close to the hearts of all of us who have past and present worked in Irish Theatre Institute. It has been a bit of a labour of love, to be honest, over 2 decades, and we're utterly thrilled that we're in a position to mark its 20 years as an online catalogue of new Irish professionally produced plays in both the English language and the Irish language. So before we get into the joy of discussing what is a play, a few short thank yous. Firstly, to all of you who have joined us this morning and hope will come back and join us again tomorrow, and to our esteemed keynote speaker, who my colleague Catherine will introduce you to shortly, and all of our panelists and moderators. Thank you for your participation. We genuinely as well want to thank our core funders, the Arts Council, for supporting Irish Theatre Institute over many years. And also we want to offer on this occasion a particular thanks to the anonymous donor who 20 years ago provided us with funds to start this project and believed in its potential. That donation is actually what's probably made all of this possible and brings us to this point. Finally, I have to say at the outset, a thank you and congratulations to our team on producing this event and the publication that comes with it. And in particular to Catherine Murphy, our Symposium curator and playography editor, Kate Heffernan, a playwright and playography researcher, and our digital producer, Noelia Ruiz, who has been a guiding hand over the past number of weeks. Now, I'm going to hand you over to Siobhán Bourke, co-director of ITI, who's going to endeavour to bring you through a whistle-stop tour of Playography Ireland and its over 4,000 plays.
So good morning, everyone. So on our first slide, what you will see is, I think, the heart of playography. It essentially is a simple search for a play. It has play title, playwright, and surname. And I think what you'll see here, and for everybody who knows playography, it tells you about the origins of playography. Playography was, its first impulse was to capture all new writing in order that the plays might have a second life, and to capture the publishing and the writers' agents, and to find a way in actually to animate the repertoire. So that was our simple search. And the next slide gives you a picture of the advanced search, again with the information on searching for a play, and it also allows you some insights into what's actually currently going on while you're on the page. So it tells you what e-plays are for sale, it tells you what was the latest playography update, and it tells you the most recent searches, and that's in the bottom section of it. It contains plays in the Irish language and plays in the English language. All the Irish back to 1901 with Douglas Hyde's first president of Ireland, his play Cossan and Sugan, and in the English language back to 1904 the formation of the Abbey, Ireland's National Theatre. So on the next slide, what we have is we have an example of a play. So we chose for this occasion to pick a northern playwright, Martin Lynch. You can see Martin's entry, his name. It's in blue, meaning that you can click on Martin and you'll get all his biographical details. And then anything that's in blue is hyperlinked. So then you can see from that we called Martin's play Castles in the Air and Plays General. We said it was full length. It had a cast of 5 men and 3 females, and there were 2 cast notes on it, or cast notes on it. And then it has all the original cast and creative team, and it has who owns the rights and if the play is published and where to find more information on Martin. This really kind of shows you when you consider that there are 4,000 plays in the Playography Ireland database, that it shows you that what we're trying to do is to revitalise a repertoire, introduce many lost scripts, and provide a gateway for locating and clearing rights for a very large number of existing scripts. So next slide, please, Lee. The advanced search is really for researchers and for the theatre community, because it allows you to pick and identify plays that might be of use, it might be of interest for new further productions. You can obviously, as you can see there, they're all the different categories, and also, as you can see, when we talk about new plays, we're also including adaptations and translations. And there on the right hand side of the screen, you can see all the search functions. Remember, playography is totally searchable and totally relational in terms of how you find the information. Next slide, please. We launched playography in 3 phases. The first phase in December 2003, and the first phase of this key piece of research, Jane and myself were in place. Lachlan Deegan was the key researcher and director of playography at that time, and we must have had an army of artists who were actually inputters. We paid to do the inputting. In those early, as Jane called them, kind of almost pre-digital days, you couldn't have sent that job off to Poland or elsewhere to get all those entries done. So we basically, which is a process that's now become quite common, but in those days, we basically did a series of hot desking, and people, many of whom might be on this call, actually inputted the plays from that period. The second phase went back to 1950 with Caroline Williams at the helm, and the third phase back to 1904 in the Irish playography, which is the English language plays. On the right there, you'll see a photograph of a CD we created for the launch in 2005. And the woman facing out is Phyllis Ryan. Many of you will know her, of course. And she's speaking to Barry Casson. And Phyllis Ryan and her company, Gemini, were an absolute, she was a powerhouse in the 50s to 80s, 90s of producing new work, would have produced all the early reels. Amazing producer. Next slide, please. And this is the Playography na Gaeilge launch. So these phases, this too was launched in phases from 75 to 2009, and that period would have been led by Anna Bale and Pádraig O'Shiel, and the earlier phase, 1901 to 74, again would have had Pádraig, Anna, and they were joined by Nora de Butler. And the woman on the left is Mairead Ní Gráda, who most Irish people know because of her play on Trial. Mairead was a fabulous playwright who mostly her plays were produced in the 60s. We all know her play on Trial, as I said. And if you were to look at photographs of that, especially in the televised version of it, the actors are all in black polo necks and black slacks. Directed by Tomás McGanna, it had a kind of Brechtian feel and felt, I think for the 60s, must have been very contemporary. Next slide, please. Research parameters. So there's a book behind this in ITI. We have a folder of all the details on our research parameters. I'm just putting it up here so people can see what is included and what's not included. And we also to say that when we have definitions around what's Irish, so we do include the work of significant Irish playwrights whose work has been premiered abroad. And because essentially, as you probably all know, playography is essentially a catalogue of Irish world premieres. It's the premieres by Irish playwrights. So whether the person is based in Ireland or abroad and the premiere happens, their work is included. Next slide, please. Every time we make a presentation on playography, we realise that the community listening have information to tell us, have further insights, have further feedback to give us. And so we always encourage people to come forward, playography@irishtheatreinstitute.ie. We're very keen to hear from you. If there's anything you feel we're missing or things that should be corrected, we're very keen to do that. So please do get in touch. Next slide. So I haven't got much time to go into this, but if we probably could spend a day looking at some of these analyses that have been produced by Irish Theatre Institute over the years. These chronologies show on the bottom, it's the year, and on the vertical, it's the number. So it's showing you the number of new plays that were produced in each year. This particular slide shows the number of new plays produced each year, which are the blue, and the pink are the new plays for children. And I think it was when we first created one of these chronologies that we as a team looked at them and thought, actually, this kind of analysis is actually telling us as much about the ecosystem in which the arts are made, in which theatre is made, the community. It's also telling us a lot about the general cultural scene. It tells you about, you can see it reflected in the new work, how much Arts Council funding is available, the impact of recessions. And because we have, as you can see here in this slide, and the lower part, we always include key dates for the companies who are making the work. And I think if you were to go over time, there's a fabulous piece of research to look at who was making work at what time, and to look at that notion of a playwright as writing from a time and place, and who's influencing who, and how that is all changing the nature of playwriting and plays in Ireland. And there's a day's conversation about that. Another time we'll have that. Next slide, please. So these are our findings reports. They're all available on the Playography website. There are breakdowns in all of these findings by gender, by age, by region, by venue, by playwright. Of course, anyway, they contain mountains of information, and encourage you all to go look there in the findings report to find out more about it. Just to reiterate before I hand back to Jane, it's taken a village to create this database. There are 4,000 play entries. Probably 100 people have been involved in putting in those entries. And that's important to acknowledge all of those people. And then it's very important to say that this is a resource for the theatre community here, and it is actually mapping who we are and what we talk about, because there is a whole theme section as well. Anyway, on that note, next slide, please, Lee, and we'll hand back to Jane. Thank you.
Thanks, Siobhán. I think you did very well now, 20 years and all those plays in such a short period of time. And I'd urge anybody to kind of log on, explore Playography. You may go down a rabbit hole for a number of hours on end, but it will be a very pleasurable journey, I tell you. Now, here we are. What are we doing here today? We're here today to ask the question, what is a play? This may seem like a very simple question, and it's one that we ask ourselves in ITI all the time. The content of the Playography tells us that the answer is not a simple one. What we decided to do was to commission 6 essays from playwrights, asking them that question, what is a play? To that provocation, each responded in a very thought-provoking way, and we realized that their thoughts provided us with the topics for our symposium, and that will you'll see that unfold in the course of the day. I want to thank the 6 writers who participated. They are Veronica Coburn, Thomas Kilroy, Zoe New-Reardon, Martin Sharry, Rosemary Jenkinson, and Philly McMahon. They will be, their words will be prevalent throughout the course of the symposium. So this publication is available online. Some of you will have received it already. Please share it. Use the hashtag #WhatIsAPlay, and let's share this publication as widely as we can. But we're here to talk about it as well. So I think it's my great pleasure to hand over to the event curator, Catherine Murphy, and ask her to start the proceedings with our keynote speaker.